Listen to me carefully. If you clicked on this video, it's not by accident. You're tired. Not physically tired, mentally tired. Tired of starting again and again. Tired of watching motivational videos that hype you up for 5 minutes and then disappear when real life hits. You know the feeling. The alarm rings. Your body feels heavy. Your mind starts making excuses. And suddenly, all that motivation you felt last night is gone. That's because motivation lies to you. Motivation tells you, do it when you feel ready. Discipline says, do it even when you don't. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Motivation will never change your life. Discipline will. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is a decision. Motivation depends on mood. Discipline depends on commitment. That's why motivation starts things, but discipline finishes them. Look around you. The people who are winning in life, they're not more motivated than you. They're just more disciplined. They wake up when they don't feel like it. They work when they're tired. They stay consistent when results are invisible. And that's the part nobody shows you. Because discipline is boring. It's lonely. It doesn't get applause. Nobody claps for you when you wake up early. Nobody cheers when you stay consistent. Nobody praises you for saying no to comfort. But one day, everybody will respect the results. You see, most people are addicted to comfort. They confuse comfort with happiness. But comfort slowly kills potential. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you're training your mind to quit. Every time you wait for motivation, you're giving control of your life to your emotions. And emotions are unstable. If success depended on motivation, almost nobody would succeed. Because motivation leaves when things get hard. Discipline stays. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you hate it, even when you're tired, even when nobody is watching. Especially when nobody is watching. That's where real growth happens, in silence. Let me ask you something honestly. How long are you going to keep lying to yourself? How long are you going to pretend you have time? Time doesn't wait. Life doesn't pause. And opportunities don't come back. The pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret is permanent. You either suffer now and live later, or live comfortably now and suffer later. There is no third option. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your discipline. That's why on your worst days, your habits decide your future. And if your habits are weak, your future will be too. Discipline is not about being extreme. It's about being consistent. Small actions. Every day. No excuses. You don't need to feel confident to take action. Action creates confidence. You don't need to feel strong to move forward. Movement creates strength. Stop waiting to feel ready. You will never feel ready. Start messy. Start tired. Start scared. But start. Because the hardest part of discipline is the beginning. Your mind will fight you. Your body will resist. Your comfort zone will scream. That's how you know you're on the right path. Comfort feels safe, but it keeps you small. Discipline feels hard, but it builds greatness. And understand this clearly. Nobody is coming to save you. No perfect time. No perfect mood. No perfect motivation. It's just you, your choices, and what you're willing to endure. Successful people aren't special. They're committed. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems, routines, habits. They show up even when they don't feel like it, especially when they don't feel like it. Because discipline is self-respect. When you keep promises to yourself, you build trust with yourself. And when you trust yourself, your confidence becomes unbreakable. But every broken promise weakens you. Every excuse makes you smaller. So ask yourself today, who are you becoming? Someone controlled by emotions? Or someone guided by discipline? The life you want is on the other side of consistency, not motivation. Consistency. And consistency is discipline in action. There will be days you feel unstoppable. There will be days you feel empty. Discipline doesn't care. It shows up anyway. That's why discipline will take you where motivation never could. And if you stay disciplined long enough, motivation will eventually follow. But by then, you won't need it anymore. Let me tell you something most people never realize. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about showing up when perfection is impossible. Some days you will feel strong. Some days you will feel broken. Discipline does not change. Because discipline is not an emotion. It's an identity. Once you decide, I am the kind of person who does not quit, everything changes. You stop negotiating with your feelings. You stop asking your mood for permission. You stop waiting for the right energy. You move anyway. And this is where most people fail. They think discipline is punishment. They think discipline is suffering. But discipline is actually freedom. Think about it. When you control your habits stop controlling you. When you control your time stops slipping away. When you control your mind, fear loses its power. But if you don't discipline yourself, life will discipline you with stress, regret, debt, shame, and lost potential. And life's discipline is far more painful. People love to talk about balance. But balance is earned, not given. First comes discipline. Then comes freedom. No one sees the early mornings. No one sees the lonely nights. No one sees the sacrifices. They only see the results. And call it luck. But luck is just discipline staying quiet for a long time, until it becomes impossible to ignore. Understand this clearly. Your future is being built right now, by what you do repeatedly, not by what you plan, not by what you say, but by what you do when nobody is watching. Every excuse you make is a vote for the life you don't want. Every disciplined action you take is a vote for the life you do want. And those votes add up. You don't wake up one day successful. You wake up one day realizing you never skipped the work. Discipline is choosing pain with purpose over comfort with consequences. Comfort says, relax, you deserve it. Discipline says, earn it. Comfort asks, what feels good now? Discipline asks, what will matter later? And later always comes. The problem is, most people only think short-term. They trade their future for temporary relief. They quit when it gets boring. They quit when progress is slow. They quit when results are invisible. But invisible progress is still progress. Roots grow underground before anything appears above the surface. And if you dig up the seed every day to check if it's growing, it will die. That's what quitting does. It kills potential before it has time to breathe. You must learn to trust the process, even when you don't see results. Especially when you don't see results. Discipline means staying consistent. When your mind tells you it's pointless, that voice in your head saying, this isn't working, this is too slow, you're wasting time, that voice appears right before growth. If it were easy, everyone would do it. But everyone doesn't. And that's why everyone doesn't win. Winning requires separation. And separation requires discipline. You have to be willing to be misunderstood. You have to be willing to walk alone. You have to be willing to say no when others say yes. Every level demands a new version of you. The old habits won't take you to the new life. The old mindset won't support new goals. Something has to die for something greater to live. And that something is comfort. Discipline is not built in one day. It's built through small promises kept daily. Wake up when you said you would. Work when you said you would. Stop when you said you would. Simple actions. Powerful identity. And once discipline becomes your identity, motivation becomes irrelevant. You don't need hype. You don't need inspiration. You just execute. Rain or shine. Good mood or bad mood. Tired or energized. You show up. That's why discipline creates confidence. Not fake confidence. Real confidence. The kind that doesn't shake when things go wrong. Because you know, you will do the work, no matter what. And that belief changes everything. So the question is not, do I feel motivated? The question is, who do I refuse to become? Refuse to become average. Refuse to become weak. Refuse to become someone who looks back with regret. Your future self is watching you right now. And one day, you will either thank yourself or hate yourself for what you did today. Choose wisely, because discipline will take you places motivation never could. Let's go deeper now, because discipline is tested the hardest. When life starts hitting you back, when things go wrong, when effort is high and results are low, when nobody believes in you, sometimes not even you. This is where most people collapse, not because they can't do it, but because they don't know how to stand alone. Discipline means continuing, even when nobody is clapping, even when nobody is checking on you, even when the only voice you hear is doubt. And listen carefully, doubt is not a sign you're failing. Doubt is a sign you're stretching beyond who you used to be. Your old self will fight your new self. Your comfort will resist your growth. That resistance is proof that something inside you is changing. But growth demands sacrifice, and sacrifice always feels unfair. When you're the only one paying the price, you will miss things. You will lose people. You will feel lonely. And that loneliness will ask you a dangerous question. Is this even worth it? That question has ended more dreams than failure ever has. Because failure hurts once. Quitting hurts forever. Discipline means answering that question with action instead of emotion. It means saying, I don't need to feel confident to continue. I don't need approval to keep going. I don't need comfort to survive. I need discipline. Most people want the reward without the routine, the title without the training, the success without the struggle. But life doesn't work like that. Life gives nothing for free. Everything is earned, either through discipline now or suffering later. And here's the brutal truth. If you don't choose discipline, you are still choosing something. You're choosing regret. You're choosing mediocrity. You're choosing to stay exactly where you are. And staying still is dangerous. Because the world keeps moving. The gap between who you are and who you could be gets wider every day you delay. That gap becomes frustration. That frustration becomes self-hate. And that self-hate destroys confidence. Discipline stops that cycle. Discipline says, I will not let today's feelings decide tomorrow's life. It says, I am responsible, even when it's hard. And responsibility is power. The moment you stop blaming circumstances, people, luck, timing, you take control. And control is everything. Because a disciplined person is unstoppable in the long run. They don't need perfect conditions. They don't need constant motivation. They don't need external pressure. They apply pressure to themselves. That's why discipline builds mental toughness. When you consistently do hard things, easy things stop scaring you. When you keep promises to yourself, you stop doubting yourself. And once self-doubt disappears, fear loses its grip. You realize something important. Pain doesn't kill you. Avoiding pain does. Struggle doesn't break you. Running from struggle does. Every time you face discomfort, instead of escaping it, you grow. And growth compounds. One disciplined day won't change your life. But disciplined days stacked together will create a version of you that feels unrecognizable. That's why discipline is dangerous. Dangerous to excuses. Dangerous to weakness. Dangerous to the old version of you. And yes, there will be days you want to quit badly. Days when rest feels smarter than effort. Days when comfort feels justified. But discipline asks one simple question. Who do you want to be tomorrow? Not how you feel today. Not what's easy now. Tomorrow. And every day you answer that question with action, you move closer. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be consistent. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be relentless. Relentless in showing up. Relentless in effort. Relentless in refusing to quit. Because the world doesn't reward intention. It rewards endurance. And endurance is discipline over time. So if you feel tired right now, good. If you feel challenged, good. If you feel uncomfortable, good. That means you're exactly where growth lives. Stay there. Work there. Build there. Because discipline will take you somewhere. Comfort never will. And motivation? It will come later, when it finally sees that you are serious. At some point, discipline stops being something you do and becomes who you are. That's the moment everything changes. Because now, you don't ask yourself, should I do this? You ask yourself, how could I not? You no longer see discipline as effort. You see it as self-respect. And self-respect is powerful. A person with self-respect doesn't beg for motivation. They don't wait for permission. They don't negotiate with weakness. They move, even when they're scared, even when they're unsure, even when the outcome is unclear. Because clarity doesn't come before action. Clarity comes from action. Most people are waiting to feel ready. But ready is a feeling that never arrives. Discipline understands something emotions don't. You don't need certainty to move forward. You need commitment. Commitment to the process. Commitment to showing up. Commitment to becoming uncomfortable on purpose. Because comfort is seductive. It whispers softly. It tells you, you've done enough. You can rest now. You deserve a break. And sometimes rest is necessary. But most of the time, comfort is just fear in disguise. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of finding out what you're really capable of. So you stay small. You stay safe. You stay average. Discipline refuses that life. Discipline says, I would rather struggle forward than rot in place. And that mindset separates leaders from followers, builders from dreamers, winners from almost winners. Here's the truth nobody talks about. Discipline will isolate you. People won't understand your routines. They won't understand your focus. They won't understand why you say no so often. They'll call you obsessed. They'll call you extreme. They'll call you different. Let them. Because different is the price of greatness. If you look like everyone else, you'll live like everyone else. And average lives are crowded with regret. Discipline teaches you to be alone without being lonely. It teaches you to enjoy your own company, to trust your own standards, to rely on your own word. And when you can stand alone, you become unshakable. That's when pressure stops breaking you and starts sharpening you. That's when setbacks stop discouraging you and start instructing you. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to build in me?" That question turns pain into power. And power, when guided by discipline, creates momentum. Momentum is dangerous because once it starts, it's hard to stop. Small wins stack. Confidence grows quietly. Identity shifts slowly. One day you wake up and realize you're no longer chasing discipline. You are discipline. Your habits protect you. Your routines ground you. Your standards guide you. You don't need external pressure because your internal pressure is stronger. And that's when life starts responding differently to you. Opportunities appear. Respect increases. Results show up. Not because you got lucky, but because you stayed disciplined. When nobody was watching, and when people finally notice, they'll think it happened overnight. They won't see the early mornings. They won't see the missed comforts. They won't see the internal battles you won in silence. But you will. And that's enough. Because the greatest reward of discipline is not success. It's becoming someone you respect, someone you trust, someone you don't have to lie to. And once you become that person, success becomes a side effect. So keep going. On the days it's heavy, on the days it's boring, on the days it feels pointless, those days matter the most. Because discipline is built on the days you want to quit, but don't. And that discipline will carry you to places motivation never could.